What's up, my dudes? We got 20 laps in the rain. MXGP Pro. I just chugged about a half a gallon, a swig a gallon of tea here. So, yeah, hopefully I can control myself. We got some wetness going on. And we got to be able to tone it down when we need to tone it down. Obviously, these bitches are on all time here. So, yeah, I'm going to say a little bit of challenge. It's actually first real time I've actually tried to go in here and, test the rain in the game and stuff like that. I have rode on a couple tracks with the rain, but I haven't really run in there, tried to, test it, doing a bunch of laps and stuff like that on it. So we'll see what it does there. It's looking pretty cool right now. So obviously you got the WW Ranch. A couple of the tracks have little places off the side of the track where you can set a bunch of water pond sections, stuff like that. So I thought that looked kind of cool. Definitely brings the environment together a little bit here. So yeah, let's see if we can get out front right quick ski. Then we'll start pulling away from these dudes. So I obviously know this track fairly well because I did a wide open video on this one. So it's basically just kind of figuring out where I'm going with the mud on it. So we'll see if it actually creates any sort of ruts or anything like that of any kind on this. I'm not really sure if it will or won't, but ooh, yeah, overjumped that a little bit. That's a little tricky section where you kind of got to like jump to the side a little bit or you'll just jump right off the track. Oh, right there. Ooh. Yeah, be careful right there, too. That's a little cut section where it will actually respawn you if you cut right there. So, okay, let's see. Get on the brakes a little. Come around. I'll be completely honest with you. I was expecting it to maybe be a bit slicker feeling. You know what I mean? Like, it really doesn't feel all that slick. If I'm being 110 with you, it's not that slick, man. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's... I mean, obviously, this is a fully modded out bike and everything like that. I'm assuming that the real-life riders have fully modded bikes. I'm not 100% sure, but I think they do. So, yeah, it's not like it's really not that slick at all, to be honest. God dang, I mean, I feel like I'm not sliding at all on this thing. I don't know, dude. That's interesting. I would have thought... Ooh, right there I got a little slide. I don't know if you guys caught that. Got a little front brake kind of washout slide there. That's the first feeling of loss of traction I've had at all remotely in this entire gameplay that I've done so far. So it's a 15-minute plus too, so theoretically that's probably not actually 20 laps, but she's close enough, you know what I'm saying? So let's try to run up the inside. I know there's that little line where you can go right there. Ooh, ooh, shit. God dang. That pony got a little wild on me, dude. Got a little peppy with her steppy, and I didn't appreciate that. Wow, okay, so, yeah, if you guys know about this game, how it kind of has a bizarre feeling of, like, doesn't it feel like you're going to crash at all, and then all of a sudden, like, some little random thing will happen, and you'll crash instantly, and without warning, you know, you won't really be able to save it. That's kind of the way this game can give you, the feeling of this game can have at times, and definitely feels the same with this rain mode here. Like, I lost all that traction for no real apparent reason, but I haven't anywhere else. And I'm going like 3 times as fast everywhere else. So it's a bit bizarre for sure. But yeah, I was expecting, I'll be completely honest, I was expecting more loss of traction than what I do have here. Like, it's not that bad. I mean, it's not like I'm really sliding that much at all. Like, I would say having a stock bike without modded tires makes you slide more than having on a normal track, right, would make you slide more with non-modded tires. But if you get modded tires on a wet track, it's not as slick feeling. Obviously, I'm going to slide down at least once here, but I kind of messed up trying to say that. It probably didn't make any sense to you, but what I'm trying to say is like basically stock tires on normal dirt is more slidey and sketchy than modded tires on wet dirt is what I'm trying to say here. So let's see if we can, oof. Gotta be a little careful on that. Okay, but yeah, I mean, as far as the way it looks off of the track stuff, that looks really good. Like, I'm not lying, that is good. You can't, I don't know if you can get it looking much more realistic than that, but it has its own kind of feel to it as well. I mean, it's realistic in a certain way. You understand what I'm saying? It's got its own sort of graphical feel to it, right? It's just kind of a But I mean, I would say it's the best graphics in any motocross game so far, for sure. Just it's got kind of that next generation engine to it, with which a lot of your other motocross games out there don't really have that. So that's one aspect to it right there. But as far as the way the ruts are actually developing, she ain't really doing too much. It's not like, oh, god dang, these ruts, wet ruts are really becoming anything crazy, which usually wet ruts don't do that, Usually your wet ruts in real life, and I've rode on a lot of wet tracks before because sometimes you just got to ride when you can kind of thing. So I've definitely gotten a lot of real life experience with wet tracks, and usually they're not really making anything that's physically going to change much of anything. It's just kind of visually changing it, but you're not really going to make like a hard rut that you're going to be able to get down in the wetness or anything like that. But in real life, usually it would have a little bit more slide than this, I would think personally. I feel like it's not quite enough slide to even really make you have that scared feeling like you're in mud. You know how in real life where it's like when you're in mud, you're on your toes. The hair on the back of your nutsack is standing up. Like you gotta be on it because it can reach up and bite you at any second. But this really doesn't give you a scared, slick mud feeling like that. It just kind of this almost feels more like what I would think super deep dirt would feel like. Not even deep mud, but just deep dirt. It's kind of like what it feels like to me. I don't know if anybody else is getting that feeling, and maybe it's different on certain track. This is this hard packed or what the hell is this? I don't know. But like if you go to a sand track wet versus this kind of track wet, it could be different. So that's definitely something to take into account when you're kind of considering all that. But it'd be nice to get around some of these fools. Get out the way. Oh, ricochet off that. Okay. 5th place. See if we can catch up to these boys out front. You know how they ride super consistent in this game, at least on all time anyways. Basically, like, you're going to sit there forever if you make any mistakes. You're not going to move forward unless you're like 0 mistakes with it, regardless of how fast you're actually going, because there's really not all that much you can do to like separate yourself in this game. There's just not. Usually, like with motocross games, you'll have at least 1 or 2 some sort of jump rhythm or roller rhythm or something that allows you to actually separate yourself. Like it's a really hard thing to hit, right? It's a really hard jump rhythm or a really hard roller through a corner or roller up a hill where you can triple the rollers instead of double them, or triple down a hill instead of double down a hill. Reflex was one of the arcade games that probably had the most of that, which makes it the best arcade game in my opinion, stuff to actually separate you on it. But this game just doesn't really, the only real thing that you're doing that's separating you is just sheer corner speed and sheer corner entry exit speed. That's all you're really doing. Like, there's just not much more to the game. The jumps aren't shit. They're nothing. So it has nothing to do with how you're actually hitting the jumps. It's all about how you come into that corner, how much gas you get, momentum you're carrying around the corner. That is the entire game to it. The jumps are just sort of a blind, hold the gas down on it and you'll be just fine kind of thing. That's really all the jumps are in this game, other than like the Supercross track on the compound or whatever. But everything else, you're just hitting it. You're not even really thinking. So this game does kind of have a weird feeling of, even though sometimes it looks like the bike is getting decently in the air, right? It looks kind of like a realistic simulator-esque tabletop size type of thing. It just, for whatever reason, it's like it just does not give you the feeling like you're actually popping up in the air. Like, I don't know. There is something weird that I've always felt with these milestone games that have given me that feeling. Like, it just does not feel like I'm actually jumping. I don't know why. I don't know if it's... I don't know. I don't know if it's the way the physics of the in-air type of stuff does it, but I have no clue. But I'm just saying, whenever you leave the actual ground, for whatever reason, it just does not give you that, like, I'm flying feeling in any milestone game. For whatever reason, just does not do it. So, yeah, I guess part of that is, You don't really have like a lot of free ride tracks with, 200-foot jumps or anything like that in any of these milestone games, and everything's usually replica based, so you don't get any remotely bigger fantasy size style jumps in these games at all. So, but I mean, even with the jumps that are in the game, they still don't give you that much of a fun factor at all, man. So, but yeah, we're down to 4 or 5 minutes here. So, I mean, obviously you can see the visual changes that it's made to the track, but like right there, you can see it's kind of dug down a little bit to the right, and then right here to the left, just like that. Kind of makes more of a darker, kind of tar-colored look to the dirt where everybody's been riding, and then the rest of the track just has a kind of dark brown look to it. So, kind of cool the way it looks. Obviously, you can see kind of the water developing there, stuff like that. This game just really reminds me of like Forza in every way. With the rain mode in Forza is really good, and just kind of gives you a certain look to it and a feeling, and the water puddles that can come up on the track. I don't know if they have to use the same engine as Forza that they do in this game, because there's a lot of stuff in this game that is very similar to that, like the way the collision is in this game, where you just kind of bump around onto everybody. It's just hard to explain, but just the feeling that it gives to you is like a Forza game, even though this is a motocross game. It's bizarre. I don't know any other way to explain that, but it can definitely kind of give you that vibe a little bit here for sure. So, yeah, man, I definitely need to start saying vibe more often. I've been laying off. I don't know what's going on, boys. I'm getting lazy. Got to get back to it, man. Got a bunch of custom tracks going to be coming out. I've been working hard on that. Been going through some struggles with that. If any of you hardcore fans are still watching this video here, however many minutes we are in, there's some MX Sim custom tracks going to be coming out real soon. Going to be really cool, unique stuff for that. But just been struggling with it, had some problems, but I'll get into that in some future videos, and we'll be doing that. But yeah, a lot of cool stuff planned. Really excited for some of the video ideas I've got coming, and I think it'll be really cool, but no telling how long this MXGP Pro will really last. I'll still make quite a few videos on it before I'm totally done with it here. But yeah, it's it'll be interesting to see what the next milestone motocross game is going to be and when it's going to be released and all that kind of stuff. Kind of leaning a little bit towards the maybe official Monster Energy Supercross 2, possibly, maybe. I don't know. I mean, where else would they go from here? It's kind of like, are they going to come out with another MXGP game next year and that's it? Or it'd be hard for me to think that they wouldn't come out with another Supercross game after the mad success that had sales wise. Not necessarily talking about gameplay wise and all that, but just obviously it's going to sell like fucking hotcakes when you got a game with that kind of title to it. But I didn't think the official Monster Energy Supercross game was like a terrible game. I never thought that. I just always thought that it wasn't going to be legendary level like a lot of people were kind of suspecting and thinking that it was going to be. I never ever thought it was going to be like that, and it's not like that, straight up. It's just not. So, but yeah, I mean, this MXGP Pro, like, yeah, it's better than MXGP 3, but is it really better than the official Monster Energy Supercross game? I don't know. Honestly, I don't really think it is. If you're like side by side comparing the two, I would rather play the official Monster Energy Supercross game than this game, but that's just me. I guess I am a little bit more of a Supercross guy, but just the way the whips feel in that game feel better. I just thought that was a better, well-rounded. It's got the track editor. This ain't got no track editor. What the fuck? Well, how did they think that was going to work out? They just think, oh, hey, we'll give you a track editor in this one, but our motocross game that we come out with, we're not going to give you a track editor in that. Nah, dude. You'll be all good. What the fuck? Same price, but no track editor in this. Yeah. Makes a ton of sense, for sure. It's like, damn, that may be something they might be coming out with in the future. Like a game that's all based around track editor. Maybe they just come out with like a $60 full-blown track editor that works basically with every track that they've had in the game. Like this year, like all the Supercross tracks are in there from Monster Energy Supercross, the official video game. All these tracks are in there. And maybe it's got like these physics mixed with Supercross's whip physics. Shit, I don't know. And then have like track editor for all of that. Have a motocross track editor mixed with Supercross track editor where you can make hybrid tracks. And that's the route I wish they would go down, is really try to make a super extensive track editor feature in their games. You know, so people can really start making some cool stuff with that, and trying to just, you know, put the motocross and supercross in the same game to some degree anyways, as much as you possibly can. I mean, putting as many compound style tracks as they can, put as much supercross in their motocross heavily oriented games. Like their MXGP games need like 5 or 6 supercross tracks in it, and their supercross only, you know, official Monster Energy Supercross games need to have like 4 or 5 motocross tracks in it, so that you get a little bit of that kind of dual dirt bike racing variation there. So we got 3 to go here. Just kind of getting off on some random topics. You guys know how I love to spill like that. Okay. So yeah, I mean, here we go. We're probably on like lap, maybe 15, 16, something like that here. So it's just not, I mean, the mud effect here, it's like, if I'm not mistaken, I mean, I don't know. I'm thinking maybe it felt better in the official Monster Energy Supercross game. Could be wrong, but this really doesn't give you all that different of a feeling. It doesn't. And it may have felt better back in MXGP3. I don't know. Seems like when I'm thinking back to that, it actually felt pretty slick on that game. But this right here just doesn't feel slick hardly at all. I mean, it really doesn't. Like, I don't feel like I have to be on the throttle any less because I'm on mud instead of Brownie Mix Traction Dirt, which is insanity. It should not be like that. Definitely should have felt a little bit slicker. Not really sure why it didn't. Jump faces should have been a little more sketch, like the bike kind of slides off of the jump faces a little more than it is here. But it really doesn't give you that feeling at all. Maybe it's like giving you a little bit more friction, right? So you can't go quite as fast on it, but not a whole lot of slickness here at all. I mean, not as much as you would think in your head, that's for sure. Now, maybe if you're going really slow, you don't have any momentum, and you're just like kind of hammering the gas and turning, maybe it'll slide a little more like that. My voice is going out. Need some Robitussin, bitches. Maybe it would be like that, but for the most part, it's not like that, like straight up. It's just not. I mean, that's really all there is to it here. Definitely not what I was expecting. Like, visually, it's cool as hell. Off-track visual rain, all that's really cool, but as far as actual gameplay changing integration, not too much of a difference here, man. Definitely not like, oh my gosh. I mean, I just don't feel like it's even, I don't feel like they really did a whole lot at all to the rain mode. Like, as far as actually innovating or changing it much, just seemed like another rain mode in a milestone motocross game to me. So either way, dude, about down to the last lap ski here. Obviously, it's kind of widened out that little tar dirt look in some areas. Trying to do a little first person here. See if it, so yeah, they still don't have the effect where you can actually see the rain like gathering up on the goggles. They definitely need to have that. For sure. Especially when you're in this actual goggle mode. I feel like they need to have that, and then have like a tear off button. It'd be really cool if they put that in here, kind of like how it is in MX Bikes. That's the only game I've really seen that's done that motocross wise. You know what I mean? Like where you actually have to tear offs. I even think that would be cool in MX Simulator, you know? Have a tear off system, have where the mud actually gathers up on the goggles and force you to have roost on in MX Simulator. I always thought that should have been a thing in that game, but yeah, final lap. We'll get back in this view. But yeah, I mean, yeah, you can say like the bike kind of has a little bit, it's kind of reacting and giving you a little bit more feedback over some of this, the corner sections and stuff, but nothing that's grabbing you or really making you crash more than you were at the beginning or anything like that. You know, that section's really getting blackened out on that first part. Finally, I slide out. God damn, took all that time just to slide out once right there, dude. So either way, let's see. Okay, try to swoop around right here. So we're back in 10th. Just kind of got... Oh, what in the absolute hell just happened right there? I did a stoppie going up the hill and slid out. Lost my front end and somehow came off the ground and still landed it. Woo! I don't know how I pulled that off there. Shit needs to be on a crazy moment compilation or something. Alright. You can almost triple, kind of sort of triple to that little section. Let's see, let's try to get back around this dude. At least get a 10th place. Okay, slide, slide, slide. Pretty cool how it looks on the riders and all that type of stuff. Now, there is one thing I think they changed a little bit in this game. It doesn't feel like you're going as fast as you did in the Official Monster Energy Supercross game. It doesn't feel like the actual speed of the screen is as fast, which is, I feel like that's an okay thing. Thought it was a little bit extreme in the Official Monster Energy Supercross game, almost to the point where it made you nauseous. Like everything was coming to you so damn fast that it just made you nauseous, and not like it is in MX Simulator. You know, it's MX Simulator, the faster you go, the faster it goes to you. That game felt like anytime you're on the gas, everything was moving like light speed in the Official Monster Energy Supercross game. So this game definitely feels a little bit slowed down from that, which is cool. But either way, appreciate you guys watching all the videos. Later, dudes.